Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Salem. I'm an executive coach, corporate trainer, and professional speaker. I have the privilege to be here today with Renee Reisch, and we're going to be talking about today about with all the issues going on with the pandemic. All we keep hearing about is all the fears that people have, with the pandemic, even if it's affecting you personally or indirectly. Obviously, it's impacted your careers, your families in so many different ways. But what we're going to talk about briefly here today is about resiliency. And this is a time more than ever that we don't want to get caught up in the problem. We want to start looking from within to look at where is the solution. And this is a time, and what we're going to be discussing today is more specific to women. It could be men as well, but more to women, and how you can use this time to become more resilient and kind of look at what's been holding you back, not just the pandemic itself, but something even deeper, some personal thing. And with the virus situation going on, that's just magnifying that. So without further ado, I would like to bring in Renee. And Renee, I'd like you to talk a little bit about this particular problem, and knowing that there are many women out there that might have been struggling before this and still struggling, and that they're not alone. So take it away and just to share some input from that perspective.
First of all, Chris, I want to thank you for having me on your show today. I greatly appreciate it. So much gratitude for that. And I agree with what you said. It's with the pandemic going on, I think what's happening is it's bringing up the old beliefs, the system that keeps playing in your head, those tapes that we have from way back when, of the limiting beliefs that we hold in our hearts and our minds. And those are the stories that we tell ourselves. And those stories are exactly that. They're just stories. They're not factual. They're things that maybe, whether it was a teacher or a parent or a friend, that may have said something, and we made that our story, and we started acting upon what we felt was a truth. But in reality, it was just that the story that we felt was what we owned, and you only own what you believe. And what you believe to be true. Why do you believe the fact that you're amazing, that you're incredible, that you're a good person, instead of the limitations that you place upon yourselves? Because those are the only ones that hold us back.
I agree with you. I mean, again, there's so many things, and there's so many things that a lot of people kind of like limit themselves. Women, maybe they were moms, or maybe they put their careers on hold. Maybe some of them were downsized, from a career into into entrepreneurship, but they've been struggling in that area. Or this pandemic now is, kind of put them out of work, and now they're facing, something different that they haven't, are not used to. Talk about, from your perspective, that this could be a blessing in disguise right now, this moment, this period of time that we're going through, that you could begin that transformation stage. Is it easy? No, but talk about it from your perspective. You wrote an internationally best-selling book that recently came out, talks about your personal story with resilience, finding your voice. You have a Facebook group here. Enlighten some of the women that will be listening to this all over on something that when you had this uncertainty, you doubted yourself, you felt like there was no way out, and how you were able to reclaim that power back and turn something negative into a positive.
Thank you, Chris. That's a great point to bring up. I really think of it like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. She always had the power the whole time. And as women, we give up that power so often because you place others things that they want on what you really should do for yourselves. Like whether it's your kids or your husband or whoever, whatever it is in life, you take care of others before yourself. And like that, the saying goes, put your own oxygen mask on first. You have the power and you have the tools from within to do what it is you want to do. So one tip I would, suggest for the listeners is to make that list of when you wake up, if you could do anything you wanted, what is that thing that drives you? What is that thing that you would do in life that really motivates you, lights you up? That no matter if money was not an issue or anything, you would just do it because you just love it so much. This may be that perfect time, like Chris, we were just saying, a blessing in disguise. Like, what is it that you can do that would bring you so much passion and joy that you can, share it with the world and share it with others? And a large part of that is finding your voice. and finding the thing that really gets you going. You know, that's your own voice from within that you've always had, but you let the voices in your head stop you.
Mm. Yeah, I like to call that limited beliefs, and maybe you call it something different, but nonetheless, talk about that. That women do have. It's not like there's certain women that are capable, or certain people that are capable of getting out of these situations and getting where they want to be. Talk about, like, how, again, just a couple, maybe a tip or two that you could just share with women that are maybe struggling, prior to this pandemic, and now this pandemic just magnifying their situation.
Well, it does definitely exacerbate what's going on because, like I said, earlier in this conversation, it's what we've had in our head the whole time. This is just bringing it out in it's magnifying it to the 10th degree. So it would really be thinking about what you really love, thinking about what makes you happy. I always suggest people write a gratitude journal. When you keep a gratitude journal, you can't have be grateful and live in fear at the same time. You can't have those limited beliefs if you're grateful for something. You can't say, I'm grateful for, but, if you're grateful, you're grateful. So, it's your fear or fearless. Be fearless and live in gratitude and, create that abundance because that's where it lies. And the power, like I, also said, it's within you and you've had it the whole time. And I'm here to help you if you need that or to support you. People like the word help all the time, so support in what you're doing because that's what I've been through in finding my own voice. I physically had lost it to an illness in 2013 that took away my voice, and at the time, I didn't really know what was going on. I was like, holy cow, how did this happen? Why did this happen? And what do I do? But really, it took a good several years for me to realize why that happened. And I know that it was because I was more concerned with people pleasing and making sure that everybody else was happy rather than me. And I didn't listen to my own voice from within. So when I couldn't speak and I had no voice, it was for me to be quiet and find my voice.
Wow, it's powerful, and I know you illustrate that perfectly in your book. And in terms of, we got about a minute or so left before, but how can people best connect with you? I always feel that people have to connect with others they feel that relate to them, and that they're feeling understood. There's some women that will be listening to this that are going to be able to relate to you and understand you because they feel through what you shared that you can relate to them and understand them, even though you've never met yet. What would be the best way that these ladies can get in contact with you to perhaps, to maybe share their story and get to know, you get to know them and they get to know you?
Absolutely, Chris, and thank you for that. I would love to hear their story because we all have one. And I am definitely interested in hearing theirs because I think that's the beginning. That's the stepping stone to finding their voice is sharing. And what do they say? Sharing is caring. Well, I definitely care because I want to help those women who are ready to step out into their confidence and get rid of those old beliefs. So it's Renee at reneereisch.com. It's ReneeReisch. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. I am all over social media. And I do have that Facebook group, is Finding Your Voice also. So please reach out to me in the email. If you do email, which I prefer that, I'll know it's from this conversation. And you can put resilience. So that would be good because I would like to help you be more resilient. So if you put that in the subject heading and resilience, then I'll know it's from this and you're ready because I'm ready to help you.
Well, thank you, Renee, for really delivering some powerful nuggets here today. And obviously there's a lot more. And I want to thank you for stepping up during this time of need for a lot of people to share your information for women out there that could be struggling in silence. And again, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, listeners, for joining in.
Thank you, Chris.